Good morning, pregame crew. It is Friday, January 27th, 2023, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. You're at the pregame show. This is a show where I go over indices, commodities, crypto, movers, and shakers of the day. My goal is to get you ready for the trading day. We have very important data coming out in 7 minutes that will most likely impact the market and cause some volatility. So if you have any positions on open orders that you don't want open, double check everything, all right? So let's do an audio visual check. I'm going to say hello to my friends and then do a few chart requests. Good morning, Night Truck Nugget, Topher. Let's see. Trainman, Whitney, Casey, Ponzi, Ed, awesome. Mighty Pawns, RJ, hi Roger, Crypto, Cat, and George, Paul, Keith, Carlos, Tess, Greg, Bask, Wave, Mal, Killian. Hi, Homebody, Mary. Win for you, Michael, SpongeBob. Perfect. Thank you, Wave and Night Truck. Hey, Lane, Trey, Rob, Dustin, Kaza. I have daughters that live in Arizona. All right, if you could hit that like button and we'll get started. Only after you hit the like button will I get started. Just kidding. Okay, let's go look for some chart requests. Amex, all right, you're interested in those earnings names. Okay, what am I not doing right? AXP, right? Is that what you want? Yeah, AXP. Got the wrong acronym there, Paul, trying to make sure I'm on my game this time of morning. Weekly EQ. Lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, and we're tightening up. We're at 164.88. We're breaking bull out of it over this level. 166.06 is your next resistance. We're up and over that weekly 50 MA. That's a good sign. Probably overbought. Yep, overbought, but it's based on news, so RSI is not as important. If you want a long, you're going to be waiting for first 5-minute oversold or first 2 to 5 minute pullback to the VWAP after we open. That's aggressive bull. Visa. They had earnings. Ugh, they got one of those messed up charts. So 22924 is the resistance to break over, 22924. And right now, I would just look at it from this perspective. What was the low of yesterday to the high of the reaction? You pulled back about 50%. So odds favor a lower high up here. It looks good. It's green. I mean, the market is slightly red and it's green. So I don't remember exactly what Visa's earnings were. I posted them, but it is really hard when an earnings name gets stuck in the middle of reaction. Then you're kind of stuck if you're trying to trade this for a day trade. Happy Friday. Carlos, I use Thinkorswim and I use Tradeovate for futures. Thank you, Tess. When I started trading, it's the first time in my life that I started dreading Fridays. I used to look forward to Fridays, but it actually made me dread Fridays because I just want the trading days to continue. But it's not good for me because crypto, when I traded on the weekend, like it cuts into family life. MGA, and then I'm going to get you ready for PCE in 3 minutes. You've asked me about this one, I believe. I would call 65.99 a double top with 65.58. We are over the key weekly moving averages. On the daily, we're in a downtrend. This looks like it has liquidity issues. Well, not bad. A 4-hour lower high is anticipated compared to 65.51, and then on a pullback, a higher low would be expected compared to 58.72. You're right here diddling in the middle is what I think where price is. You're stuck in this large range. This is a gappy little sucker. All right, let's get ready for PCE. All right, we have PCE data coming out in 2 minutes. And as always on investing.com, it's free. You can hover over that data point and it'll tell you what to expect. So we've been going up because of inflation, and we want to see that number continue to go down. It measures the change in prices of goods and services purchased by consumers. A higher than expected reading should be bullish for the dollar, which is bearish for equities. Lower than expected should be bearish for the dollar and bullish for equities. So we want to see the number come in at the expected or lower for a bullish day and for continuation. So per my table, I'm kind of at a push this morning, slightly leaning bearish, and I'll give you all the data and the reasons as to why I'm looking bearish. But let's get to the levels. So if you need to mark them up on your chart, I'm looking at this potential 4-hour rising wedge. Rising wedges typically don't break bearish if you're in a bullish trending market. They are less reliable, and you know the logic fits there. So we have key support at 405.725, the low of overnight. Key resistance 407.7. Then the next support down at 402.725. So I showed you my table real quick. We'll have the data in 42 seconds. Here are the reasons that I am looking slightly bearish today. I'm not going to fight the trend. Yesterday, y'all saw me, I stopped out quickly and I didn't fight the bulls. The bulls want to keep going today. God bless them, and I'll find myself a bullish trade. There are reasons that give me cause to pause, and here are the 7 reasons that are giving me cause to pause: from overnight Bitcoin weakness, bonds, 12-hour head and shoulder confirmed, dollars in a potential falling wedge, VIX is in a potential falling wedge. For all of these reasons listed, I am looking slightly bearish this morning. So let's see what the reaction is. We'll have the data in 4 seconds, and if someone could put it in the room, that'd be great. You're welcome, Brave. George, I've been trading for 7 years. Once I see the data, if y'all haven't put it in there, I'll put it in here. But I don't see it yet. Good morning, Danny from Canada. This could be a nothing burger as well. It looks like it's kind of stalling out. And we do have existing home sales at 10 a.m., 30 minutes after the market open. And I always tell y'all, set an alert so you don't get taken by surprise. Okay. Meets expectation. Thanks, Trey. Thank you for that. All right, we can get started with the show. Again, I'm looking a little bearish here. My stop would be 8 points away. I'm not comfortable with that, taking an ES short here. That's too far away. If you want to do a micro, I guess it would be okay to put your stop just over 4068 if you wanted to take a short attempt. I don't feel very confident in it right now, and especially with existing home sales coming up. It may be better just to let the market open, and as always, watch market internals and see what's going on, who's buying what, who's selling what, and you get another card if you wait until the market opens. It's just like sitting at the poker table and putting all your chips in based on 2 cards you have in your hand versus letting at least 1 or 2 cards show. So, as always, I wake up, all the puzzle pieces are dumped on the floor, and I assemble those puzzle pieces and bring them here for you today and say, okay, this is what I'm looking at. But the minute the microphone turns off, more data enters the market and things could change. All right, welcome to the pregame show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, you can check us out at chartguys.com. We teach technical analysis, and you're like, what do y'all do? We have this chat room. It's Slack. It's not Discord. Discord is junky. I have Discord for some personal things here, but Discord is very junky. Our goal is to establish community with this technical analysis. While teaching technical analysis, people are constantly posting their observations, their setups. And again, we're always promoting community and calling out setups as we see them. All right. what I do here is I go over indices, commodities, crypto movers, and shakers of the day. I showed you this table, and I'm leaning slightly bearish today. We'll see what the price action does. And don't forget, at 10 a.m., just to remind you, you see these 3 stars? High volatility expected, all right, on pending home sales. Don't forget it. And then I typically reserve my notes for TCG members only. When I have a lot to say, I show you my notes. I do want to reserve some things for TCG members. They pay for the membership, and I give this data away free every day. So I want to treat our members special as they are. But today I thought it would be helpful for me just to show you, here are the 7 things that have me leaning slightly bearish. Okay, we're popping now. So these are items, slight divergences that are saying, whoa, don't trust everything you see. However, the trend is up, and you will overall be a more consistently profitable trader if you go with the trend. So many people try to be cute and be contrarians, and it just gets you in trouble time and time again. Okay, so Hang Seng was green overnight, just barely, and DAX was up 0.19 last time I looked. And it's turned slightly red. Nothing concerning yet. Okay. We looked at that. Blockchain names could be particularly heavy today with Bitcoin weakness. SI is suspending its dividend. That could have bearish overhang on names like MARA or Riot, Hive. So just BKKT, just stuff to think about, and MSTR. Okay, I'm going to move that out the way. I'm very particular about my tabs and how I keep everything organized. Okay, let's look at the indices. So this is what I'm looking at on the 4-hour, and I'll say it again. We are in an uptrend. If you look at this, we've had a beautiful bounce since December 22nd up. So if you're looking at a rising wedge when you have been in an uptrending market, those have less reliability. So I factor that in when I see this rising wedge. Hey, what is a rising wedge? When you think about it, a rising wedge is just a series of higher highs and higher lows. How is that bearish in any way? Well, it's just not getting a ton of movement up on these little higher highs. They're not getting a ton of follow through, and that gives you cause to pause and say, okay, are the bulls running out of juice? And right now this could be a 4-hour bull flag. So caution bears, caution, your support 405.725, and they're holding the 4-hour EMAs just fine. They're holding the hourly EMAs just fine. Okay, I'm going to take the rising wedge off so we can see something. I got mentored by a Cajun trader who lived in the Northeast, and he had been trading at the time for like 35 years, so it's probably been 47 years now, and he's still at it. And he always says, don't short a quiet market. And I didn't know at the time what he meant by that. Now I know. Do you see these EMAs going flat? EMAs are going flat as price churns sideways. Well, what's happening to RSI? While price is consolidating in time and not in a drop. So it's consolidating in time and it's cooling off the RSI. 4-hour RSI is only 63. ES, Apple, they have a lot of room to the upside on a lot of time frames. They are not extended. So this has been a nice grind up. So that's what he meant when he would say, don't short a quiet market. So if you have a market that's in it, let's delete all this. If you have a market that's in an uptrend and it's just going sideways, that's as bullish as it gets. And you're like, wait, what? Shouldn't it just keep going higher? No. You want it to cool off RSI, consolidate in time versus price, and then take the next leg higher. And that's what we're doing with this 4-hour potential bull flag. So, of course, we had low volume overnight, so that makes sense. But also, bears, if you want to take down price, when's the best time to take down price? Overnight, because the volume is lower. A big bear can come in and really tear stuff up. I was about to say a bad word. They could tear stuff up overnight because the volume's low. Well, they weren't able to do squat overnight. That tells you the appetite of this market. Now, we have FOMC next Wednesday, and if you thought that was scary, we have scarier things happening. We have big earnings next week. I believe Apple, Amazon. Yep, Thursday, February 2nd. So we have Apple, Amazon, Google next week. and FOMC. So this could be the big crescendo into an implosion caused by Mr. Powell and inflation. I have nothing personal against Mr. Powell, but just saying there's a lot of grief caused by the market, which is interesting. When I studied at LSU in business, I had a professor once ask us who's the most important person, an influential person in the economy in the U.S. And we were, at the time, whoever it was, President Clinton, whatever. And he's like, no, absolutely not. No, it's Alan Greenspan. So that tells you how old I am. So Alan Greenspan, I'm like, who is he? I have no idea. Well, of course, now that I'm in trading, I completely understand. And monetary policy is really driven by the FOMC and it can impact the markets. Okay, that was a lot of hot air. Let's go back to indices. NASDAQ. And I should tell you, NASDAQ is running in the 200 MA overhead, the daily, and QQQ is as well. This could be a slowing point for NASDAQ. And as always, I'm watching NASDAQ for clues because it's so important because of the large tech weighting we have in ES. You have support at 12016. Is that surprising? Let me answer that for you. No. Yesterday morning, what number was I calling out 1 billion times? 1201050. And we have support overnight at 12016, $5.50 above that. Prior resistance acting as support. These are all little data points that you'll just keep adding to your toolkit. And if you're new to trading, this will start to click. You don't have to grasp everything all at once. The cool thing about trading is if you can manage your risk and stay around long enough, all of this will start to click for you. All right, so 1201050 held overnight. We're holding the 4-hour EMAs just fine. And look at that. Consolidation in time versus price. That's bullish. Okay, RTY. RTY is not as cute, definitely not as healthy. We have a 4-hour diamond bearish reversal pattern forming, unconfirmed. Don't ever draw one like that. That's as ugly as it gets. Even I won't allow that unacceptable drawing. Something like that. And basically, you're getting higher highs without follow through, lower lows without follow through, and you EQ out on the right side. And typically, if you go look at Pattern Site, and that's patternsite.com, Bulkowski, he went over all the patterns and the probability that they break to the upside or downside. And you can look up the diamond bearish reversal pattern and think about it. It has more than a 50% chance of resolving to the downside, or it wouldn't be a pattern. It would just be a blob. Why would you call out any pattern like a cup and handle or head and shoulders if it didn't have more than a 50% chance of resolving to whatever side it's leaning? In this case, at the top of the uptrend is a reversal pattern, so we would be looking for it to resolve to the downside. I'm long-winded today, y'all. I'm just sorry. It's just how it's going to be. 1903 is your support, then 1886, resistance 1911. What does this tell me? If I'm going to short the indices, RTY would most likely be the best short opportunity against 1911.40 versus ES and NASDAQ that are in nice 4-hour bull flags. Okay. So we have YM and a potential 4-hour bull flag. And guess what YM did that nobody else did? It got a higher high overnight. Now, it's a higher high by $10. Not super impressive, but it's a higher high nonetheless. Holding those hourly EMAs like a champ. Look at this. This is beautiful. If YM is our canary, then the day could be very bullish. And I caution you on taking trades prior to 9 a.m. Wait, no, 10 a.m. Eastern. Sorry, yeah. I'm in Mountain Time, so I have to constantly do the difference. 10 a.m. Eastern, we have data coming out. We could be screaming bullish when we open into 10 a.m. and everything change on a dime. So don't forget that we have data coming out. So I would be careful with early trades until that data is done and over with. Hey, Darth Star. All right, so VIX. VIX has a falling wedge look, and that's where we're getting higher highs and then lower lows that aren't getting a ton of follow through. So this has a falling wedge look, just something to note. We are green overnight. it's not holding at the moment. $19 is your resistance. So this is something I'm keeping an eye on. And US 10-year made a daily higher high. We have a potential 12-hour inverse head and shoulders, and it made a higher high overnight. Didn't get a lot of follow through, pulling back pretty hard here on that data. So pulling back, and then let's look at bonds. Bonds has the opposite pattern, and we have the potential 12-hour head and shoulders, and we broke bear overnight, but we're not getting a lot of follow through. That's bullish for the market. If ZB can hold up and shake off these head and shoulder bears on ZB 12 hours, that would be bullish for the market. Same thing with US 10-year. If the bulls can, the bears can defend this bull break and say, nope, not so fast. You didn't get over 3585. We're going to play defense here. That would be good for the market. US 10-year going up is not good for NASDAQ. All right, Bitcoin was weak overnight. We're not losing the EMAs. I'm going to take this off. I talked about the retracement yesterday and how deep it was, and it was real cool yesterday to see this get within $1.50 of that 0.382, and then the same thing for the golden pocket. Talk about playing bangarang. So we're fighting here at the hourly moving averages, the 21, the 8 EMA, and the 50 MA. We are struggling here. Bitcoin's still going sideways. Bitcoin is weaker than the indices. This could be a canary. Bears have a lot to prove nonetheless. Ethereum. So Ethereum, we are below the EMAs here. So a little bit weaker. Bulls are playing defense right now. We're popping on that data. In order to change things, they need to get over 1590.74 in order to change short-term tone. Gold's up here testing 1935.40. We got a double top at that level. This morning, this kind of struck me as an Adam and Eve pattern. And every time I mention an Adam and Eve pattern, I'll have someone message me and say, isn't that a double bottom? Sure, it is. You could just call it a W. You can call it a double bottom. You can call it Adam and Eve reversal pattern. And the reason that Adam and Eve reversal pattern exists because you have these V-shaped recoveries, and sometimes that's just bears covering. But that right side, when you have the rounded bottom, that shows that the bulls are slowly changing the direction of price. And that's why a cup and handle has a rounded bottom. Scallop, rounded bottom. Adam and Eve, rounded bottom. That is a bullish sign. They need to get over that 50 MA in 1935.40, so this isn't confirmed yet. Oh, Michael, it's just too early, boo. It's just so early to get up and put on makeup and fix my hair. So I'm getting my hair done this afternoon. So maybe next week if my hair looks decent. Potential hourly bull flag on oil. So oil has this daily EQ here, 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 and we rejected overnight. We had resistance at 82.64, and overnight we hit 82.43. So we have the Baker Hughes rig count today at 1 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So don't forget that. Potential hourly bull flag. I told y'all the other day when I took this short here, and this morning I was staring at this when it was at 82.43 thinking, take it again, take it again. But you know, the more often that we revisit a level, it increases the chances we're going to break through because you're depleting the overhead supply of sellers each time you visit that level. So I didn't take the short today. And just look at these EMAs. You see that little, it's got a little zippity doodah day with it, with that little rounded bottom. Bulls have got some Momo here. Look at that. Look at the EMAs. Zippity doodah. Look at that, the separation, the 8 and 21 EMA. They've got some zip, and so I'm not going to short them today. Nat gas. I've gotten more questions on Nat gas this week than I have the prior, let's say all of fourth quarter. I've gotten more questions on Nat gas this week than I have all fourth quarter combined. That's how many people are looking to catch this falling knife. Okay, so we shifted the continuous contract, shifted more to the NGH contract from the NGG. We have a little bit of backwardation called out by Jungle Funk in the room. Thank you for that. So what that means, if we look at NGG, we No, that's the wrong one. And that's the wrong one. Okay. Wake up, get some coffee. So NGG, we're up at 2863, but look at continuous contract, we're down at 2813. So we really shifted and things kind of moved last night. So what you were looking at yesterday in price on continuous contract is different than what you're looking at today. Bears are in charge of this chart. Hourly, not oversold. 4 hour, no longer oversold, which it does have bullish divergence right there on the 4 hour. Daily, barely oversold. So these little bounces just cool off RSI and it gives bears a chance to take it down again. So please be careful with nat gas. The 4 hour RSI bullish divergence is about the only little glimmer of hope I see for bulls. I would just be real careful. Oh, a win for you. That is super nice. Y'all are very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. But we know we're not here for my face. We are here for technical analysis. All right. So Apple. Apple has this EQ. And again, and I say the same thing every day. So if you're here every day, I'm sorry for the monotony. Sorry, not sorry, because that repetition is good for us. We have this hourly EQ. If 14425 holds on Apple, that could be the line in the sand that says you do not pass go and collect $200, bulls. So 14425 will be super important, and how this EQ resolves will be important for the market. Amazon 99.89 is your resistance. That is a level from after hours. So we got over this 99.32, but always zoom into extended hours on names that have after hours. They have after hours volume, like Amazon. 99.89 is your resistance. So we need to get clear $100 essentially for Amazon to continue its move up. It's cooled off RSI in a good way, and so is Apple. Apple has room to go higher. Do y'all see what I just drew unknowingly? Adam and Eve reversal pattern typically comes at the bottom of a trend, so that's not an Adam and Eve, it's just an EQ. Just that's kind of funny. Oh, y'all are nice. Okay, NVDA. Okay, so Intel they bombed earnings. If we could give a grade for earnings on the A to F scale, they would get like a D minus, if not a full F. Intel bombed earnings and it brought down semis with it. So if you're going to look to short something today, I would focus on the semiconductors or IWM. One of those semiconductors you'll probably have a little more luck with. So we have an hourly EQ, but this is not like that. You see the difference? This is way more bullish, holding hourly EMAs. NVIDIA is fighting here at these EMAs, and it has Intel overhang. Now, you could take the other camp and say, well, that means I'm going to go bullish NVIDIA and AMD because they're beating Intel. You could take that stance, but price is showing they're moving in sympathy. So you stay with the trend that you see, not what you want to see. So if you're looking short, I would look at semiconductors today. Okay, back up. Where am I? Tesla. Yesterday was pretty interesting. I was posting it right. I could pull it up and show you the date and time stamp right here. We had big seller step up here and here. And when it would come close to 155, he'd put a big old buy order on the bid. Someone was defending that level. They like Tesla at 155. So I just plopped it on my chart. It can serve as synthetic support or resistance in the future. So Tesla bulls are in favor. If you're looking for a long today, I would say Tesla could be a long. But Tesla has RSI problems that other ones don't have. 4-hour RSI is almost 80. So that's the only big issue for Tesla, is that it's running hot. But you know what? It got beat the heck up. So one sec. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Trying to hit the mute button. Couldn't hit it fast enough. So sorry. So sorry about that. So Tesla potential 4-hour bull flag. Super strong. These EMAs are unrelenting, so you are looking for, if you want to be a conservative bull, you're waiting for first 5 minute oversold. If you want to be an aggressive bull, you're looking for a pullback to the 2 or 5 minute VWAP once the market opens. Cost DNB, I put it in the back of my brain. If I see RSI bullish or bearish divergence, it's definitely not enough for me to act on a trade. If I have, here's the way I see it. I'm constantly looking for evidence to convict a bull or a bear. And I've mentioned this before, but my undergraduate degree is in business pre-law. I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I changed my mind and got my MBA. But I have that mentality of looking for all the details and piecing things together. So that's what I do. So if I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for a bull setup, and you have a name like Nat Gas. Let's say it is dropping into support. Hypothetically, of course, because it's not. And then we have a 5 minute falling wedge into support. And we have bullish divergence on RSI. And the dollar is dropping. I probably should have used oil instead of nat gas. Let's delete that. So this just keeps lining up the evidence to say, this is a great reason to look for a bullish setup, as this name is coming into support with a bullish reversal pattern and RSI bull divergence. Then I'm like, okay, then I will use my normal position size or even size up a little bit. So that's how I use bullish divergence. It gives me a little bit extra conviction on a setup I'm looking at based on the most likely scenario. That has to be in all caps. I always start with what's the most likely scenario, and then I just start breaking it down after that. So that this is my fishing hole is a nat gas, in this case, a nat gas bottom fish, and my fishing pole is I use all of these different baits and lures to say, okay, I want to catch this fish. Thank you. I hope that y'all are funny. So I hope that made sense. Let's go back. IWM. I like IWM now. I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth because I just told y'all on oil, every time we revisit a level, it increases the chances that you can break through to the upside or downside, depending on if it keeps revisiting support or resistance. I want you to look here. Here. Look how many times, those are terrible arrows. TradingView is not friendly with me in these arrows. Look how many times we revisited that level and it's held. So we have a quadruple top, if you will. You could say a Cinco top in this 189.50 area. So I like a top fish of 188.70 for a conservative bear. An aggressive bear is looking to top fish 189.85. So I like IWM for a short. And just be careful and step out of the way if 189.56 is breached. LUV, I hope you got that short yesterday. Well, I think this is one that we can recycle. I like a top fish of 35.76, looking for this potential 4-hour bear flag. You see it? Looking for it to break to the downside. Now, bear flags can break bull by a tiny bit and then still retrace. So I would even give this idea up to $36. Above $36, the idea is wrong. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, Riot is going to be a top fish wave, and I have to stop and answer my mods questions. And yes, they get total priority because they help me out here every morning. So yes, Riot's going to be a short in these areas all day, every day till it stops working. It just keeps working, so keep doing it. So I would say right here, yep, you read my mind. You know I like to go to the hourly or 15-minute for intraday resistance. 624 resistance. I love it, Wave. Love it, love it. Okay. I'm not done yet, but I want to answer just a couple questions. Bitcoin is losing it. Totally losing it. 10-minute megaphone forming higher highs without follow through, lower lows without follow through. This is not healthy. A bear could look to top fish. A 5-minute lower high of 23029. Okay, the market's pulling back a little bit more here. Okay. Homebody, I didn't do BA. BA is a daily inside bar, I believe. Yep. See, I know that. Y'all know why? Before I even opened it, because I have looked at every name that has decent volume, every daily inside bar there is. Let me show you. And I will rattle them off. BA, see the yellow candle, TXN, ADP, TRV, all, EFX, Humana. I look at so many charts for y'all every day. Before I go live, I've done all of that homework. And I hope you're doing your homework. I say this often. You have to stop and give yourself time to think. If you just wake up and start clicking buttons, market's going to shred you. It's going to rip you and your account to shreds. You have to make time to stop and think. You must. And I give myself a lot of time in the morning, and that's why I wake up early, to think and assemble all of these data points. So I've looked at a ton of charts for you this morning, and I've brought to you the very best that I can find. Does it mean it's going to work? Heck no. They could all fall apart like Walmart fall aparts. But I've done my very best, and I've done all of my homework. BA, it's diddling in the middle here. That was a big range yesterday. If it holds 211.27, that's more bullish than not. If it gets to $210, I would say you have increased your chances for another inside day. Gotcha. Win for you, that makes sense. A 65-minute chart. I've seen people do that, and they divide the day into increments, because 195 minutes, I believe, is a half day. I've seen people do that. I want to stay with time frames that algos use the most. I want to stay with moving averages that algos use the most. So that's how I kind of organize what I look at and how I look at it. Okay, let me land the plane here. Microsoft is a short for me. So we had this bearish, which that was one of the best trades of the whole week. If you could have gotten that double bottom, I didn't. But it has retraced approximately 70% of the move. Odds favor a lower high on the 4-hour compared to 254.79. So I like a top fish of Microsoft against the high of yesterday. So I like IWM short, LUV short, Microsoft short, and W short. W, I'm looking at this EQ. I'm looking at a top fish of 56.70. You're welcome. MARA. MARA, like I said earlier, the blockchain names may have a problem today with Bitcoin weakness and Silvergate's a suspension of the dividend. It's kind of giving an overhang to blockchain names, but it's hard to keep a good man down, and MARA has been a good egg. So I would say focus on 850 to 887 here. This level and this level. And you could look to top fish 887, bottom fish 850, and you're wrong. If it crosses those levels, you're wrong. All right, it's 7:01. I went overtime, and I appreciate you being here. Hit that like button before you exit. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notify button. Give me a follow on Twitter, and just be generally nice to everyone you see today, because you have no idea what trials and tribulations your neighbor, your coworker, your child, even you don't know what's going on in their head and what's going on in their life. So just be kind. Got it? Use stop losses.